That said, I'm not sure that I could articulate the differences between these 19 and what Kevin McCarthy stands for. What, in your view, was sort of the breakdown? And again, I don't feel sorry for Kevin McCarthy, but I'm intrigued that even he didn't seem to see today coming.
So let's okay, we could just we can end it there. So it's pretty funny to me that this is Nicole Wallace's almost admission of how out of touch she is and that she can't understand what's happening. She goes, and I don't even see the difference between Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz. It's like, well, yeah, because your level of analysis of the situation is they're everything bad and dark and they're Nazi, KKK, anti-vaxxers. So aren't they all the same? It's like, oh yeah, no, of course you can't analyze the differences between them because like you can't analyze the situation at all for what it is. You're just like you're living in an imaginary land. I don't know. It's like, yeah, there's huge differences between Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz. How about like Matt Gaetz is completely against the war in Ukraine and sending all of these money and weapons to Ukraine, and Kevin McCarthy is wearing a Ukrainian flag pin to Congress every day. It's a pretty big difference. It's like a pretty big major policy difference. Like probably the biggest thing going on in the world right now, they're on complete opposite sides of. He's with Mitch McConnell, who's said, Mitch McConnell in the Senate said that it's the number one priority of the U.S. Senate is that Ukraine wins. That's not a lot of people's number one priority in America, thousands of miles away from Ukraine. That's just not a lot of people's number one priority. But again, I mean, they're all, Klansmen, Nazi, anti-vaxxers. So why don't they all just get along? So anyway, that's the level of analysis going on at MSNBC. It's like, really, it's just no matter how many years you spend just like, watching how full of shit they are, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. It's not that they're liars. It's hard to believe how unsophisticated of liars they are. That's the level of shit you got going on there. Anyway, we'll keep watching this situation. The other thing that I thought just was like kind of interesting about it, and it's one of the things I like about this, is that it reveals how much this doesn't matter. None of this matters. Even if Kevin McCarthy doesn't get in, there's no one decent who might get in. You know what I mean? It's not like it's just a choice between it's like it's going to be business as usual no matter who gets in there. But I love it. It's the same reason I love when we get those random government shutdowns. I just love how they reveal how much this is all just bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. Everyone in the corporate press is freaking out like it's such a huge deal that we've gone a few days without having a Speaker of the House. And meanwhile, it's having absolutely no impact on real people's lives. Just means nothing. It's like when they finally said, like, their game is to, like, with the shutdown, their game is always to say, like, well, we have to pass this huge spending bill because if we don't, in 3 days, we'll have a government shutdown. And you're supposed to act like, oh my God, that'd be horrible. So I guess we got to sign whatever we got to sign. And then on the rare occasion that they can't get it together and there is a government shutdown, like, everything's fine. Life goes on as normal. I mean, of course, they don't actually shut down the government, but even the parts that they do shut down, it's like, I don't know.
It just ruins some people's vacation. That's all they really do. Is you were going to Washington. You're like, I was going to go to the Smithsonian, but the gosh darn government had to shut down. And look at the facilities I miss out on. I've been to those museums. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
They're not fun.
Yeah. I suppose there are some parks that are nice.
Yeah. They closed parks. I mean,
I think there were some like government
parks. The grass is still there.
Yeah, I think there were some government parks that they like chained up or something. That was like that.
Your great wildlife joke.
Oh yeah. Libertas, everybody. Second hour coming sometime soon. TBD. All right. So anyway, I don't know. Any final thoughts on this?
Where else? All right. Do you think the big things that are on the table are whether or not a Republican Congress is actually going to, haul in people like Fauci? They're going to haul in some of these individuals. Are they going to haul in people from the FBI, either for January 6th or over tech censorship? Or are they going to make any sort of changes to bills that, they can't just be passed as 4,000 pages without anyone reading it? Or last one, are they going to exert pressure on the Biden administration to actually maybe take care of the border? I would say those are kind of off the top of my head, the big things that a Republican Congress is probably claiming to work on and should work on. Do you think any of those things come to fruition?
No. Not in any meaningful way. I mean, I think my guess is that there will be a few show investigations. I'm not confident at all that they'll actually be like have any teeth to them or actually really get any information out. But yeah, look, if the I'd say that if you were trying to make the argument that the Republican Party deserves to exist, which is not an argument I'm making, but if you were to take the radical position saying that the Republican Party deserves to exist and shouldn't just be abolished, wouldn't you have to think they would have to accomplish at least one of those? Like, just take one. It's like, I don't know, get to the bottom of the FBI involvement in January 6th. Get to the bottom of how much money pharmaceutical companies have paid Fauci. One of these things. Do one of them. Yeah, some type of hearings about Twitter or any of this stuff. The FBI and the CIA involvement in silencing Americans during the most important time, for being right. Let's see something. But I don't know. I mean, look, there's like all of the crimes of previous regimes have all gone unpunished, even when the Republicans have larger majorities than they have right now. So I just have no reason to suspect that that's going to happen. I do think that like there's a handful, like usual, there's a handful of people in there who probably, if they had their way, would want to do something serious. But I see no reason to expect, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong here, but I see no reason to expect that this is actually going to happen.